G'day battlers, and the Kanto Tour is essentially here, which means we're about to get a great chance to farm up some XL Lickitung candy to try and get that level 50 Lickitung. Now this video is going to be split into two parts. First we're going to look at Lickitung in the Open Grey League, where it is definitely a monster there, and then we're going to take a look at Lickitung in the Labyrinth Cup that is going on this month. So there's going to be a lot in this video. You can skip to those timestamps down there to skip to that certain part of the video, or the progress bar of the video will also have the timestamps in there. So if you just want to see the Labyrinth Cup stuff, you can just skip there. And if you just want to see the Open Grey League stuff, I mean, it's going to be right after this bit. But yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already for a bunch of PvP content. And yeah, let's jump into it. Starting off with the Open Grey League, we have a snapshot here of all of the Pokemon that are in PvPoke's condensed Open Grey League meta. So these are kind of the Pokemon that you're expecting to see that are really good in the Grey League meta. And we're going to look at these dudes to kind of take a look at what Lickitung can and can't do. So that way we kind of look at why Lickitung is so good in the Grey League. So, I mean, it's ranked number 11 on PvPoke, which means that it is very good. It can do a lot of work. And I should probably mention the moveset as well. You're going to be wanting to run Lick as the fast move as opposed to Zen Headbutt. Lick is just a really fast move. It can add up some nice ghost damage. And then as the charge moves, you want Power Whip and Body Slam. Body Slam is a raid exclusive move, so you can Elite TM to Body Slam, which you might have to do if you don't want to use one of your Lickitungs from that raid day, which was a while ago, so you might not even have one. But Body Slam is just such a good move that you really do want to have it on your Lickitung. But with that all said, let's just start jumping into what Lickitung can and cannot beat. So starting off with this little band of Pokemons, these are the dudes that Lickitung beats in all even shield scenarios. So the 0 shield, the 1 shield, and the 2 shield, Lickitung is beating all of those. So I've kind of grouped it a little bit so we can kind of see some different groups. First off, these first like 5 Pokemon are all water types. Lickitung has Power Whip, so just by Lickitung being really bulky and being able to take a lot of hits from the water types, it's then able to dish out a lot of Power Whips to take out these bulky water types like Azumarill, Lapras, Swampert, Whiscash, and Jellicent. Jellicent is kind of the crossover to the next sort of group of Pokemon, and that is Pokemon that are weak to ghost damage from that Lick. So Jellicent, Cresselia, Hypno, jumping back over to the bottom, Defense Deoxys, Drifblim, Haunter, Sableye, Alolan Raichu, Alolan Marowak. All of those dudes are going to be weak to that Lick damage, and then a lot of them are also doing ghost damage in return, which is going to be resisted by the normal type Lickitung. So I guess the moral of the story is that Ghost is really bad against Lickitung because it's doing super effective damage to them, and they're doing resisted damage back. And then Psychic types just kind of get caught up in the crossfire. The Lick is adding up, the Body Slams are going really fast, and Lickitung is just really bulky, so it is able to beat those as well. And then at the end, we've got Galvantula, Stunfisk, and also Ferrothorn. There's nothing like too special about them. Stunfisk is going to be, I think it's weak to that Power Whip. Galvantula and Ferrothorn though, Galvantula I think is just because it's the Body Slam spam is really adding up, and Lickitung is that just really bulky. Ferrothorn, I'm not really sure like why specifically it's so good, but I guess it just kind of outbulks it, able to damage it in the end. But moving on to the stuff that it is losing against all the time, we have a bunch of fighters. So the stuff that's doing super effective counter damage, Shadow Machamp, Toxicroak, Vigoroth, Scrafty, Obstagoon. Scrafty and Obstagoon, again, merging into that next sort of group with the Dark types with Umbreon and Mandibuzz. Dark types are going to be resisting the Lick damage, and Body Slam is just not going to be doing enough to kind of pick up the shortfall. Also, Umbreon and Mandibuzz are really bulky, so in a sort of bulk versus bulk game, if one of the bulky mons is resisting your move, you're in a bit of trouble. So yeah, Lickitung is going to lose those ones. And then there's the Steel type, so Registeel, Bastiodon, Galarian, Stunfisk, and Melmetal. I think it's just Lickitung can't really output too much damage onto these people. And then Registeel and Melmetal both have fighting damage as well that can do super effective damage to that Lickitung. Bastiodon and Galarian Stunfisk, I guess they're just kind of outdoing it, not taking too much damage, putting out enough damage back. They're just able to take out Lickitung every single time. And then the last two are actually Meganium and Wigglytuff. Again, there's not really anything too special about these two versus Lickitung matchup. It's just that they're able to outdamage it, outbulk it, are able to win in the end. And that brings us to these Pokemon down the bottom in the sort of blue section. So in this section, it's a bunch of Pokemon that don't win all of the even shields and don't lose all of the even shields. So I've got some numbers here that we can just throw up on screen now. The green numbers means that that Lickitung wins that even shield, and the red number means that it loses it. So against Abomasnow, for example, it wins the 0 and the 1 shield, but loses the 2 shield. I have an asterisk on that 0 shield against Abomasnow because it's actually a bit IV dependent, as I found out. So that could flip in Abomasnow's favour depending on IVs. Similarly, there's an asterisk down at Tropius. That is not because of an IV thing, that is actually a Tropius moveset thing. So I believe that it's Air/Tropius. Lickitung beats all 3 Air/Tropiuses, so like Air/Tropius could have been in the green section. Razorleaf Tropius though, it only beats Tropius in the 2 shield. In the 0 and the 1 shield, I think Lickitung actually comes out on top. That could be flipped, but I'm pretty sure that's the right way around. If I do have it flipped around, I'll have text that comes up right there. I hope. Maybe I'll forget. I don't know. Maybe it'll be in the pinned comment because I uploaded the video without checking. But what we are seeing here is we've got just kind of a sort of hodgepodge of Pokemon. So I'm seeing a fair bit of Ice types, Flying types, Grass types, just sort of mons that Lickitung isn't doing super effective damage to necessarily, and isn't taking super effective damage from. So we've got like Abomasnow is winning the 0 and the 1. The 2 shield, I guess, just suggests that Abomasnow can really start packing on the punch once the charge moves start coming through a little bit faster. Altaria, Lickitung is able to take out the 1 shield, which I was a little bit surprised about, but it is just so bulky. The body slam is OP. Chestnut takes out the 2 shield. Clefable 0 and 1. Dugong 0 and 1. Diggersby 0. Frostlass 1 and 2. That lick damage, as soon as Frostlass has to get a charge move of its shielded, Lick is just able to take out the game, take out Frostlass in the end. Able to take out the 0 shield against Mantine, the 0 shield against Medicham, the 1 and 2 up against Munchlax, 0 against Shiftry, 1 against Skarmory, that's Tropius we mentioned, 2 against Venusaur, 1 against Shadow Victory Bell, and 0 against Swiler. So not a lot of these blue matchups are great for Lickitung. So it kind of seems like Lickitung is mostly geared towards those Pokemon in the green section. Your water types, your ghost types, your psychic types. And in fairness, they are some massive Pokemon in the Open Great League. Like, obviously, Azumarill alone is enough to make a Pokemon potentially viable in Go Battle League, for example. So I think that beating this selection of just the green Pokemon alone is enough to really put Lickitung on the map, be able to do some serious work, and then you can kind of look at the matchups in that blue section as just bonuses. So like, oh yeah, I can also beat Dugong as long as he doesn't have 2 shields, which is like really good because that power just adds up. So yeah, look at it as beating the water types, beating Ghost and Psychics, and then gain some extra matchups as well. So do you need a Lickitung for the Open Great League? You don't need one necessarily, but it would definitely be a nice thing to have. There's definitely going to be some big teams coming up on like some YouTubers channels once Great League returns, where they're going to be using this XL Lickitung to some pretty good success. And actually, we might have a Kanto Cup meta simplified infographic, maybe, depending on how quick we can get that done. I don't know if Lickitung is going to have a big effect there, but we'll find out together, I guess. But yeah, that's essentially the Open Great League. So let's hop over now into the Silph Labyrinth Cup. For those of you who are just joining us for this section of the video, g'day. Lickitung moveset is going to be Lick, Body Slam, and Power Whip. Body Slam is Legacy. You can go watch the start of the Open Great League section to see just the explanation for why you kind of need Body Slam. It's just a really spammy move, and Power Whip gives you some good stuff as well. There's also like Stomp, and I think it has Hyper Beam as well, so if you really want to like do a hashtag get beamed with Lickitung, you can. I wouldn't really recommend it though in this cup, but you know, maybe I'll be proven wrong. If someone comes along with a Hyper Beam Lickitung that just destroys the meta, I will be very keen to see it. I'll be very excited. But yeah, in the Labyrinth Cup on PvPoke, XL Lickitung is rated number 1 on PvPoke in the meta. So it's obviously going to be doing a lot in this meta, and it really can. So we have a picture, we've got all the pictures here of the condensed meta according to PvPoke, plus a couple of extra entries that actually weren't on that condensed meta. I think just because the condensed meta was a little bit early and it hasn't been updated yet. I'm not too sure, but yeah. Already, these Pokemon along the top, Lickitung is going to be beating all of these Pokemon in all of the even shield scenarios. That's the 0 shield, the 1 shield, and the 2 shield. And there are some big Pokemon here. So it's beating Rainy Castform, Whiscash, Politoed, and Jellicent. The water types, they're going to be weak to that Power Whip. The ghost types, Drifloon, Sableye, and Alolan Marowak, who are not going to be loving the lick damage, and then they're not doing super effective damage back to Lickitung because that has the normal typing, it resists it. And then you've got Stunfisk, who also doesn't like Power Whip. Galvantula, who's just kind of being out body slammed, out damaged, not very bulky. So and Lickitung being really bulky, it can tank a lot of discharges from the Galvantula, and it just takes out with body slams first, and then Alola Ninetales as well. Now I don't think Alola Ninetales is like any sort of special matchup. It's just that it is able to overpower it with the body slam spam and being able to bulk, just tank a whole bunch of weather balls from the Ninetales. Now, already here, there is probably like half of most Labyrinth Cup teams in this lineup. You've got water types. Pretty much every team has a water type, whether it's Politoed or Jellicent, or even like Whiscash or Swampert. That's already one member of the team. Then most teams also have Alolan Marowak and Alola Ninetales. These are two of the Pokemon that form the kind of meta trio, the core of the entire Labyrinth Cup, the Alola Marowak, the Alola Ninetales, and the Vigoroth. So that's 3 Pokemon that you are like incredibly likely to already see on a team. Plus, they could also have something like a Galvantula on their team. They could also have a Drifloon on their team. Oh, well, you can't have Drifloon and Alolan Marowak, but they might also have Galvantula or Stunfisk. And that could mean that you could beat 4 out of 6 of a team just using your XL Lickitung. So it can do a lot of work here already. And I mean, let's carry on, because these are the only Pokemon that it is kind of losing to in all even shields in the condensed meta. You've got Mandibuzz and Obstagoon, because they do have that dark typing, they don't care about lick damage. You've got Registeel, who has that Focus Blast that can do a lot of damage, pack a real punch, and then also just kind of not care too much about Lickitung's moves. Then you have Toxicroak and Vigoroth. They're doing counter damage, they're just really going to add up that fighting type damage onto the normal type Lickitung. Really going to do a lot of hurt. But that's it. We've got a lot of Pokemon in the blue here, and basically the blue section is the Pokemon that you're not winning or losing in all even shield scenarios. So just as in the Open Grey League section, we're going to put the numbers... Whoops, that was taking away the Pokemon. We're going to put the numbers on screen. Yeah, first try. Now the green numbers are where Lickitung is winning that matchup, and the red numbers are where the other Pokemon is winning that matchup. So Clefable, for example, Lickitung is winning the 0 shield and the 1 shield, but then losing the 2 shield, because, you know, Clefable, Charm, once Charm has a lot of shields, it generally does win out. But, you know, you're winning the 0 and the 1 against the Bombsnow. It's got an asterisk there because it is IV dependent, though. Diggersby, you're still winning the 0 shield. Frostlass, the 1 and the 2. Ninetales, non-Alolan, 0 and 1. Regirock, 1 and 2. Skarmory, the 1. Venusaur, the 2. And as well as the 0. So there's still a fair chunk of green numbers here. It looks like it's about 50-50. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit... Actually, I think it's probably about 50-50. I'm not going to count, though. You can tell me if I'm right or wrong with like 5 seconds of counting that I've just wasted more time talking about it. But as I also mentioned in the Open Grey League section, you can kind of look at it as XL Lickitung beats those Pokemon in the green band, and as a bonus, it picks up some extra matchups down here in this blue section. So, oh yeah, it can also beat Frostlass in the 1 and the 2 shield, which is like, that's just an extra pickup, which is great to see. Now, again, this is so overpowered in Labyrinth Cup. Like, teams are going to have to change so much once XL Lickitung comes onto the scene, because it is just dominating so much of the meta, and like so much of the really highly used meta as well. Like these Pokemon down the bottom here in blue as well, like they're Pokemon that you're going to see too, and you're picking up some of those matchups as well. This red band, you aren't actually seeing that much of. You're going to see a lot of Vigoroth. Vigoroth is probably like the most used Pokemon in the entire meta. So that is like, you know, one Pokemon that is hard losing to that does hurt it a bit. People also bring Toxicroak, but they generally don't have Toxicroak and Vigoroth, so that's probably just a one-to-one thing. Obstagoon is another one that you can't have it and Vigoroth because they both have the normal typing. Mandibuzz is one that you are seeing a little bit in this cup. It's definitely on some teams, so it could give you a little bit of hurt there, but you know, even then, it's not the worst matchup in the world. It is, I mean, it is losing all even shields, but, and then there's Registeel. I haven't seen a lot of Registeel in this cup, I think, because you don't really need it too much. Like there's, you know, it's got some fighting damage, you've got other counter uses that kind of do it, and there's other Pokemon that you kind of want to feel out on your team. Registeel definitely has a place in this meta though, and you're definitely going to see some around, but overall, Lickitung is just looking so strong in this meta, and I am going to try my hardest to get as much XL candy as possible. So if you don't get an XL Lickitung from this Kanto event, I mean, I don't know how plentiful the XL candy is going to be, because obviously you still need to get a lot of catches. Like, you know, you have to grind out like a full community day to get your XL candy, get to like a level 50 Lickitung. So there might not be a lot of level 50 Lickitungs running around, but there are definitely going to be some Lickitungs past level 40. So even if you don't have one, if you aren't doing the Kanto event, you don't really want to do that whole thing, expect to see some, and make sure that your team is built to withstand any Lickitungs that might come onto the scene if your tournament is starting after the Kanto event might start. And that includes if it's starting like on the 19th in your time zone, but it might be the 20th in the Australian time zone. So like us Aussies might have come along with our XL Lickitungs, register it straight away. And but yeah, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one. Thank you to my patrons and supporters over on Twitch as well. I really appreciate all these people. And yeah, thanks for watching. If you want to watch some more videos, they're over there. You can watch them. I'll be streaming the first hour of the Kanto Tour event, I believe. So that'll probably be pretty soon after this video is announced. But yeah, stay tuned, and I will see you in the next video. Good luck on your XL Lickitung candy hunt.